Welcome back, you guys. So today we're going to talk about, or the title of today's video is there's no questioning when you are in the state of the wish fulfilled. There's no questioning. So this was inspired by one of my a comment that was left on one of my TikTok videos, and the person asked, how do I know that I am deciding, claiming, choosing from my new identity versus lack? And based on the question, when I read the question, I picked up on their state. And what I mean by that is their state of being. And their state of being was, what I sensed was, I don't really trust myself. I don't know if I'm standing in the correct identity, right? That is a state of being. Versus when that is the human character. The human character tries to figure things out. It's wondering, am I doing this correctly? Right? Versus when you are standing in your identity as God, as source, you don't ask those type of questions. Your state is automatically revealed through your embodiment, through the way that you express yourself. For example, I'm a makeup artist, okay? And so earlier on in my journey, there was a time a client, she called me and she asked for my price. And I told her, and she was like, when I saw her in person, she was like, girl, you have to stop being timid and shy and shrinking when someone asks for your price. Your price is your price. I don't mind paying that price, but I'm just letting you know, you have to stop being so timid about it. And so when she told me that, I was taken aback, because I'm like, I did not know I was showing up that way, right? But when I look back, what were the stories I was constantly feeding myself? I don't know if I'm worthy. I don't know if I'm good enough as a makeup artist. I'm scared to charge more because I'm afraid that my clients are gonna leave. They're gonna find someone else cheaper, okay? And from there, because I was stuck in that identity, and plus I had money stories, right? I was not addicted, but I was stuck in a loop of money stories that weren't serving me, that were disempowering, that came from the human character, okay? When you stand in your identity as God, those stories no longer exist. So back then, I wasn't aware that those were the stories I was telling myself. I was not aware. So it was expressed through my embodiment naturally. And what's so interesting about that is my clients would reflect that. People who would inquire about my prices, every time I would try to set a higher price, people would complain about it. People wouldn't get back with me. No matter how great I was, because of my state, it was always reflected in my embodiment, the way I express myself, and through clients. Now that I stand firm in my identity as God, because from here, everything is perfect. Everything is perfect. There are no stories. There's no techniques I need to do. There's no subconscious mind to reprogram. There's nothing I need to fix. I have a perfectly clean slate when I stand in my identity as God, versus when I'm in the identity of the old self, the human character, the old man, like Neville would say. If I'm standing in that identity, then yeah, I have stories. I'm running off of a loop of, oh, well, this happened in the past. Remember that time when you tried to do this and you failed at it, right? If I fall into that story, if I fall into that character, then it is going to be expressed through my embodiment, or I'm going to express that, and it's going to be reflected in my reality. No matter how many techniques you do, no matter how much you affirm, it is your state of being. It is the character that you return to. If you are returning to your human character, then of course you won't see any real transformation, any deep transformation in your life. You may experience manifestation wins here and there. I talk a lot about I talk a lot about this in my digital ebook, or my digital book called Effortless Manifestation Secrets. If you want to check that out, I'll leave it in the description box. I talk a lot about this. Like, you can take all types of action, and you can try to change things, but you can try to like do a bunch of techniques. None of that matters. If you are still returning to the old character, your human character, if you're still perceiving from those stories and not perceiving as God, then techniques don't matter. Techniques do not matter. Okay? Versus when you're standing in your identity as God, as source, you don't need a technique. You claim, choose, decide, perceive from there. Circumstances don't exist here. So when you perceive your circumstances, right, as God, they're perfect. They will collapse immediately. They will collapse immediately. So the key ingredient on your journey is to remember that you are God, that you are I Am itself. Who are you returning to? Be aware of that. Observe yourself. So the key ingredient here on your journey, if you want to be successful at the law, it's to always remember that you are God, no matter what. No matter what. This is all about being aware of who you are being. So, and this is why, like, your feelings and emotions will signal to you who you are being. Okay? And I'm not saying like you have to micromanage your feelings and emotions. No, just observe them. Observe. And you will see like, oh, that's my human character. That's just the old stories, my old self. And continue claiming yourself as God. And from there, and I'm not saying like you won't ever fall out of your ideal state. I'm not saying you won't ever fall out of, the state of being God. Because sometimes you do. It's like you will, as long as you're in this body. Okay? But your job is to remember and to claim yourself as that, as God, as source. And from there, things change. Circumstances collapse. Your perception automatically changes. Your inner conversations change immediately. Okay? So, I don't want to make this too long, but that's it for today. And I will see you guys in the next video.